It started with a simple letter, not a public declaration or a grand press conference. Just a quiet, personal plea from Prince Harry to King Charles III, an invitation to the King's Foundation event. On the surface, it was a straightforward request, but beneath it simmered a powder keg of unspoken tension. For Harry, this wasn't just another date on the calendar. It was a royal showcase where heads of state mingled with philanthropists, where the monarchy flexed its power in the name of charity. It was the perfect stage for a dramatic return, a symbolic re-entry. But what did Harry receive in return? Silence. Then a cold, unyielding rejection. This wasn't a missed email or a scheduling mix-up. This was deliberate, a swift, unapologetic. No invitation, no digital appearance, not even a courtesy seat in the back. Zilch, and the message thundered through the silence. The monarchy isn't just moving forward. It's moving on without Harry. What makes this dismissal so brutal is the weight of the event itself. This wasn't some minor tea party. This was the King's Foundation gathering, a public declaration of the monarchy's future, power, purpose, legacy. The guest list overflowed with senior royals, public figures, and cultural icons. Prince William, Princess and Queen Camilla. Even non-working royals like Zara Tindall secured a spot. Hell, David Beckham and Kate Winslet were there, but Harry? His name was conspicuously absent, and everyone noticed. Behind the polished palace gates, whispers turned into a roar. A senior aide reportedly uttered words that stuck. The king sees no reason to reward betrayal with visibility. Whether you agree or not, that's precisely how Harry is now seen within those royal walls. Not as a misunderstood son, not as a man desperately trying to mend a fractured bond, but as a traitor who crossed an unforgivable line. The sting of this rejection amplified by its very public nature. The guest list was published online, and Harry's name wasn't just missing, it was a screaming statement: you no longer belong here. For someone who grew up with royal blood coursing through his veins, who once walked those grand halls as a future leader, it was a harsh slap of reality. Harry had clung to the hope that this event would be his gateway back, a chance to prove his allegiance to duty and service, but the palace wasn't interested in selling that fantasy. The king reportedly didn't even hesitate. No lengthy discussions, no back and forth, just a straight-up, decisive refusal. Some insiders privately expressed relief, claiming that after years of tiptoeing around the volatile topic of Harry, someone had finally drawn a clear line in the sand. And here's where the narrative truly twists, because while Harry desperately tried to reconnect, Meghan Markle remained conspicuously silent, completely detached. Those close to the couple claimed she offered no support for the request, no co-signing, not even a flicker of interest. Her focus, it seems, was squarely on her own business ventures back in California. Her absence spoke volumes, strategic even. For those observing closely, it appeared she was several steps ahead, carefully distancing herself from a situation that looked increasingly like a lost cause. What was once a royal dispute now feels far deeper than a family squabble. It feels like a full-blown exile, one that is no longer temporary or open to negotiation. Harry tried to turn the page, but the crown seems ready to slam the book shut altogether. Inside Buckingham Palace, the reaction to the king's decisive move was exactly what Charles had hoped for: quiet satisfaction, not a ripple of dissent. Aides didn't just agree with the decision, they welcomed it. For years, they'd navigated Harry's unpredictable orbit, caught between loyalty to the crown and sympathy for the king's son. But this time, sympathy had run dry. The consensus was brutally simple: the monarchy couldn't promote duty and honor while simultaneously keeping the door ajar for someone who had cashed in on family drama. Loyalty, it seems, has its absolute limits, and Harry had blown past his. Even some of his former media defenders, who once lauded him for speaking his truth, have begun shifting their tone, pointing out the relentless pattern: the interviews, the lucrative deals, the endless commentary. It never stops. There's always another headline, another confession, another moment where Harry's grievances are dragged into the harsh spotlight. People are simply tired. Social media erupted after the rejection was confirmed. Hashtags like hashtag no more Harry and hashtag royal reckoning began trending. A flood of tweets, some harsh, some disappointed, but most echoing the same sentiment. He made his choice. Now he's living with it. One viral post perfectly captured the public mood. You can't write a tell-all book trashing your family, then act shocked when you don't get a dinner invite. The public isn't as forgiving as it once was. Sympathy has worn thin, and even longtime fans are starting to admit the drama is exhausting. At a time when the monarchy is working overtime to project stability and purpose, Harry's presence is seen not just as awkward, but as a dangerous liability. Then there's the thorny issue of security. Insiders revealed that Harry's request involved discussions about protection arrangements for him and his family if he returned. But that conversation died an immediate, silent death. Palace officials reportedly shut it down, arguing that his lack of official duties meant he wasn't entitled to the same protections. This refusal stung Harry deeply. Security has always been a raw nerve, a topic he's revisited in interviews, lamenting how losing protection made him feel unsafe, how it symbolized his complete removal from the institution. But from the palace's unyielding viewpoint, it was never personal. It was strictly protocol. Without a royal role, there's no reason for coverage. And no matter how loudly Harry protests, that rule remains ironclad. Behind the scenes, more doors are quietly closing. Whispers are circulating among palace staff about reviewing Harry's remaining titles. Nothing official yet, but the momentum is building. The snub from the King's Foundation event may have been the beginning of something far bigger, a full-on separation, not just emotionally, but constitutionally. The Crown is sending a message, not with press releases or dramatic speeches, but with silence, with exclusions, with decisions made behind polished doors and delivered without apology. Meanwhile, in California, Meghan's continued silence only fuels speculation. Some believe she's deliberately keeping her distance, pivoting toward a solo path, intensely focused on her own projects, quietly letting Harry navigate the fallout alone. Others suggest she's already accepted what Harry hasn't, that the royal chapter is definitively closed, that the door he keeps desperately trying to reopen is already bolted shut. Whatever the reason, her absence has become its own screaming headline in a story where every glance and gesture is meticulously analyzed. Meghan's apparent disengagement stands out. And it's not just the press taking notice. Palace insiders have reportedly interpreted it as a sign, not just of division within the Sussex camp, but of resignation, as if Meghan has already moved on from a battle Harry still clings to, hoping to win. Hollywood, it turns out, isn't the safety net Harry once envisioned. When he and Meghan first stepped back from royal duties, there was an undeniable buzz, talk show appearances, multi-million-dollar deals, and the intoxicating promise of total freedom. But now, the shine is rapidly wearing off. Major platforms are quietly, discreetly distancing themselves. Spotify dropped them. Netflix is reportedly cooling down. Executives aren't saying it aloud, but insiders confirm it. Harry's name doesn't carry the same weight it once did. The mystique that once surrounded being a royal rebel is fading, replaced by a growing fatigue and an aura of controversy. Producers are hesitant, brands are wary, nobody wants to get caught in the relentless crossfire of royal drama. In an industry built entirely on public favor, Harry is quickly starting to look like a risky investment. One PR strategist, speaking off the record, put it bluntly, he came in as royalty, but he's becoming tabloid, and that brutal shift is annihilating his public image. Without his royal ties front and center, without the access, the titles, the events, what does he truly have left that sets him apart? This is where the true danger lies for Harry. His entire public identity was meticulously built upon his position within the monarchy. Even as he stepped away, that connection provided an undeniable leverage, but now that crucial link is fraying, almost severed. Every strategic move the palace makes to distance themselves chips away at what he represents. He can still do interviews, He can still write books, but without that royal stamp, the impact just isn't the same. The risk isn't just irrelevance. It's becoming a character in a story that no one wants to keep reading. Inside the UK, conversations are irrevocably shifting toward permanence. Royal analysts are speaking openly about legacy and precedent, some drawing direct comparisons between Harry's situation and that of past royal outcasts, distant relatives, who strayed too far from the institution and were quietly, systematically erased from public duty. The critical difference this time, it's all playing out under a relentless global spotlight. Every step, every decision, every silent message is unfolding in front of millions. And King Charles isn't flinching. If anything, he's drawing strength. From this new, brutal clarity, the monarchy, in his eyes, must come before everything else, even blood. The most telling sign didn't arrive in a formal statement, but in the carefully curated guest list from the King's Foundation event. The names weren't simply chosen for status. They were handpicked to embody the very values the crown desperately wants to promote: unity, unwavering loyalty, stability. David Beckham, Kate Winslet, respected figures known for their public grace. Including them while pointedly excluding Harry wasn't just a social decision. It was a potent symbolic act, a way to declare, this is who we stand with, and this is who we've undeniably left behind. For Harry, that kind of erasure hits with devastating force. He wasn't just left off the stage, he was left out of the entire conversation. Not even a pre-recorded message, no digital presence, just a gaping absence. And that absence screamed louder than any speech. It told the public, unequivocally, that Harry no longer fits into the story the monarchy is telling. With Meghan laser-focused on her own burgeoning brand, the palace slamming its doors shut, and the American spotlight steadily growing colder, Harry is now navigating a profoundly new chapter. One without a crown, one without a guaranteed audience. It's a path he chose, yes, but it's also one that's rapidly, terrifyingly narrowing. The clock is ticking, there's still a fleeting chance for reinvention, but it won't come from clinging to royal relevance. If Harry truly wants to build something lasting, something with genuine impact, it must emerge from somewhere else entirely. Something new, something truly, completely independent. Because if the monarchy's message is crystal clear, it's this: the page has turned, and Harry's name is no longer on it.